Hello everyone, this is Jack, and it's been a while since I've done a video, but I thought I'd do one now just to show you what I've been up to recently. So it is Terrablox, but I'm not working on the old game that I was doing the videos of before. I haven't abandoned that game, but the major problem with it was the core engine was just crap and it was holding it back. So what I'm doing now is I'm creating a brand new engine from scratch, and trying to fill it with the features that the game had, but doing it properly. And this project will be open source eventually, and that's not just to help people out or anything like that. Primarily, I mean, that's a good thing too, but one of the things is that if it's open source, then I'm not going to let myself get away with things, because I'll be accountable for, workarounds and hacks and stuff like that. So I'll avoid doing them, which will make it better in the long run. So this is what I'm doing. But I will come back to the game later on when this has got to a point where it supports all the features that the game currently has. At that point, I'll just take this engine, make a new project with it, and start building the game on that. But this will still be a separate engine, so because it'll be open source and it'll keep growing as the game grows as well. So it's all good all round. Okay, so I'll show you what I've got so far. So one of the key things I've thought about with this is, as it's going to be open source, is giving it features that people will expect from this sort of engine. Whether I'm not actually going to use them in the Terrablox game, but as it's an engine, I'll put it in there and whatever. So that's infinite terrain. So yeah, it's a little slow there because it's crap at the moment. But yeah, this terrain can go on forever. It's made with procedural noise. It needs a little bit of work because at the moment it's just this sort of mountains and lakes and rivers and stuff, which I quite like. And you get little areas sometimes where it produces nice islands and things like that. But yeah, the reason it runs slow when I done that at the start is because if you look up here, this is how many instances there are. This is how many chunks there are in the world. That's how many of them are actually visible. But yeah, these chunks are actual Game Maker instances. As such, they are balls. They're really slow. They were convenient when I was just concentrating on a small map, but when this gets up to the tens of thousands, it really has an impact on performance, even when you don't look at anything. If those instances are just there, it's slow. So I'm going to try and move all that to some sort of pure data stuff. And another thing it's got is some almost decent, still needs a bit of work, frustum check-in, like frustum culling, and that means it's only going to draw exactly what's inside the view. As you can see, it generates stuff that's in front of me, and if I go far enough here to the point where it's struggling to generate as fast as I move, and then turn right, you'll see there's nothing there and it starts generating. Although at the moment the frustum culling is quite expensive, so if I'm looking into the distance like that, you can see it's checking against 1100 chunks, and it's running at 30 frames a second, which is really quite slow, and that affects everything. Like, the chunks are generating slower just because of that. But if I look down and it's only checking against 100 or so, it's nearly like 300 frames a second. And if I go out, so it's only doing one check, it's nearly 800. So the frustum culling at the moment is really expensive, but I will be optimizing that. I already have solutions, I just need to implement them. But basically I'll have a quad tree system, so it will check against bigger areas, and if it's visible, it will draw all the chunks inside it. If it's only partially visible, it will start doing checks on individual chunks. But that will basically give me a very scalable system, so I can sort of tweak it to the best performance. I've put in some nice fog, and it's still alpha, so if there was sky behind that, you'd see the sky behind the mountain. But previously it was only using the Z depth, so it was like this. It was like matched to the far plane of the frustum, so it was a straight line, and if you turn around like that, the corners would become visible. But now it actually measures actual distance, so it doesn't matter what angle you look at, the fog in the distance will never change for a certain point. So it looks much nicer and it's less distracting. Also, when chunks generate, they have a slight alpha on them. I was tweaking that because I wanted it to look like, well, they're supposed to fade in, but when they're close it's quite ugly. But when they're far away, the idea was that you wouldn't notice them fading in, so you wouldn't notice the world generating as you went around it. But yeah, it's all in the works, and I will still support features like the what's it called, the curvature of the planet stuff. That will come back. I've already got it in. It just needs tweaking because there's no finite size to the world. It's difficult to say where it should cut off. So yeah, it needs some work, and it's very subtle on such a huge world as well. But yeah, that's what I'm working on. I don't know how many videos I'll do of this. I definitely won't be doing the weekly thing. Well, not yet anyway. I'm really busy up until January, April, May, June. Well, probably June, I don't know. Quite busy. But yeah, next 2 months. But I am doing a written blog on this, and if you go to the Terrablox forums, you'll see that. You'll see links to it. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.